Hi, this is Dave Parent. I'm a candidate for district attorney here in Kendall County, and I'm here to answer a couple of questions. The first question that I received on my Facebook page was, what is your political affiliation? I am a Republican. Every candidate in this race is a Republican. We live in Kendall County. The second question that is kind of a pressing issue for our court right now is, how is the court's docket structured? I'm following a lot of social media and seeing a lot of people chiming in with opinions on, how the docket's put together and whether or not the docket's being run efficiently. So I don't want to comment on the efficiency of the docket, but what I do want to comment on is how it's actually set up. To do that, I think maybe comparing it to other courts might be the right thing to do to really set up a good explanation for why we do the things that we do. So in most district courts, we have what's called a court coordinator. So in most district courts, whenever you're setting a court date for a criminal case or a civil case, you would contact the court coordinator to see when their docket days are, how many cases are on their docket, and if your case will fit in based upon the time announcement that you have. Kendall County is set up a little bit different in that we don't have really one court coordinator who is setting the docket for every case in this court. We have basically three places that are clearinghouses for our dockets. The first one, let's look at civil cases. Civil cases would be like a divorce case, property case, debt collection case. Anything that's not a criminal matter would be set on a civil docket day. And our district judge has a calendar where he says certain days of the month are reserved for civil cases, certain days of the month are reserved for criminal cases. So on a civil court date, if you're wanting your case to be heard, you would contact the court reporter for the district court. She keeps a calendar and the civil docket. So I believe we have 4, maybe 5 days a month that are reserved for the civil docket. If you want your case heard, you'd contact the court reporter for the district clerk or district court, and she would put you on the calendar. Now, if you go to San Antonio and you're in county court at law for misdemeanors, each one of those courts has their own court coordinator, and you would set up your court date and time with the coordinator. Kendall County is a little bit different. In Kendall County, the docket for misdemeanor cases is held by the county clerk's office. On the criminal day that's reserved for misdemeanors, when you walk into court, you don't go to the judge or the court reporter for your docket. You go to the representative from the county clerk's office. If I need to reset a case or I need to set a case for trial, I would contact someone from the district attorney's office, which is usually the misdemeanor prosecutor. Visiting with the misdemeanor prosecutor, I can agree upon a date or at least agree upon a reset for my motion, my trial, or we set it for a plea. Then I would bring the agreement back to the county clerk. The county clerk would put it on their next available date or in a date that we can agree on. So you can see in misdemeanor court, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes down to when is your court date, what type of hearing are you setting it for, and the final resolution of your case. In felony court, which is a completely different day, it's a day reserved strictly for felonies, instead of dealing with the county clerk, you deal with the district clerk. Very similar process. The very first hearing that I have is usually before an indictment's even rendered. We have a first initial appearance. Our initial appearance could be for an arraignment. Usually we don't have arraignments until after an indictment is brought down. So those dates are set by the district clerk's office. Very few cases are resolved at the arraignment date. So we have, a scheduling order that comes out that will say something along the lines of, you have a pretrial hearing, you have a date set for any kind of pretrial motions, and you have a date set for a jury trial. Those dates are set at the arraignment date pursuant to a scheduling order. Now, the scheduling order is almost never followed. Cases invariably have different kinds of evidence, different kinds of experts, different kinds of witnesses that need to be brought together. And, almost every one of those cases does not follow the scheduling order just because there's too many moving parts. So the docket on felony cases is, for lack of a better term, it's kind of a slave to the facts of the case. So again, the procedure on that is get with the prosecutor, talk to them and see if they're ready to proceed, if you're ready to proceed, if there's an agreement to reset, an agreement to move a date. Then we take our agreement to the district clerk. The district clerk puts that on the next available date or a date that we've agreed to. So compared to other courts, the Kendall County Court is really set up in different areas. Different areas control different aspects of our caseload. I really hope that this explanation clears up a lot of the questions that we're having. No one person impacts the docket 100%. In every case, with the exception of civil cases, you have a clerk involved, you have a prosecutor involved, you have a defense attorney involved, or a pro se defendant, depending on they can afford to have a lawyer or they don't want one. All of these different people have an impact on how we manage our docket. So there's not one person who can come in and say, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. In order to do that, we would have to completely revamp the system that we have here in Kendall County. And frankly, restructuring the entire system might be the answer that we're looking for. And again, I hope this clears up some of the question. I'm Dave Parent. I'm a candidate for district attorney here in Kendall County, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you much.